In the 1950s, two black men in America were not allowed to buy property in certain neighborhoods. They were not allowed to get business loans from white banks. They were not even allowed to sit inside some of the buildings where money was made, so instead of asking for permission, they bought the banks. This is the true story of Bernard Garrett Sr. When people talk about racism in history, they usually talk about signs, buses, or schools, but the most powerful form of discrimination was financial. If you control who gets money, you control who builds wealth. If you control who owns property, you control who passes wealth down generations. In the 1950s and 60s, the American banking system was designed to exclude black people. Not quietly, openly. This story is not just history. It is a blueprint for how inequality is built. Bernard Garrett was not loud. He was not flashy. He was obsessed with numbers, patterns, and opportunity. He studied real estate. He understood that property was not about buildings. It was about leverage. But there was one problem. No matter how smart he was, the system did not allow him to play. So he did something most people never think to do. He studied the system itself. Bernard partnered with Joe Morris, a man who understood people, risk, and timing. Together, they realized something dangerous. The system did not care who owned the money. It only cared about who it saw. So they hired white men to act as the public face of their businesses. On paper, these men owned everything. In reality, Bernard controlled the numbers, the strategy, and the growth. They bought properties. They revitalized neighborhoods. They acquired banks. They did not steal. They did not break the law. They exposed it. This is not a story about fraud. It is a story about access. It makes one uncomfortable point very clear. Talent is not enough. Hard work is not enough. Intelligence is not enough. You need permission, and when permission is denied, success itself becomes suspicious. They were not punished for doing something wrong. They were punished for doing something impossible. Eventually, the system responded the only way it knew how. Surveillance, courtrooms, public punishment. Bernard was arrested, not because he failed, but because he succeeded too quietly, too effectively. This is the part most people miss. When a system is unfair, legality becomes flexible. But power does not. You might think this story is old, but ask yourself, who gets approved for loans today? Who gets venture capital? Who is trusted with risk? Who is labeled high potential? And who is labeled dangerous? The language has changed. The spreadsheets look cleaner, but access is still controlled. The banker's story is not about the past. It is about how wealth works, who it rewards, and who it ignores. It asks one quiet question. If the rules were truly fair, why did breaking them look like the only way in? If this story made you think differently about money and power, subscribe, because these are the stories that explain the world we are living in.